Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host Caleb.
Hi, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
So we have a bit to talk about today,
Yeah.
and not a lot of time to do it.
Yep.
So we're
On
gonna.
account of one, us being gone for 2 weeks, and also me having to work later today.
Oh, were we gone for 2 weeks?
No, a week. I keep thinking it's two because
Yeah, we didn't skip a week this time. We're on a normal schedule for once. Uh, it's because we read more than we had planned. Is that what threw you off?
yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Because guess what? We actually read 3 comics instead of 2. I lied, but in a good way. This is a good kind of lie. This is a, oh boy, more stuff.
Mm.
It would have been a bad lie if it was less. But also you have to work today, so no talking about what we've been up to this week. Although we can vaguely talk about it. Like you told me you were playing some more Skyrim,
Yeah.
and you beat Dawnguard. You
I
said.
beat Dawnguard and I've finished up the main quest.
Yeah. So interesting stuff.
Yep.
And I beat Diablo 2 finally, after getting my ass handed to me by Bale a lot. In fact, I think the finale video is I think that's coming up. Or it's already out. Yeah, so y'all got to watch the finale today before the podcast, because that was this morning. So y'all got to finally see that. And I lied there at the end of that video. I said Diablo 3. I forgot that Diablo Immortal takes place before 3. It came out after 3, but it takes place before, because it's explaining some stuff like the World Stone and what happened to it after the events of 2.
Yeah. I think I was making a joke in the car about how, well, it's destroyed. I bet they're gonna super glue it back together.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's really it on the vaguest sense of like what we've been up to. I mean, I also have been working on another project, the one that I'm doing with Kayla, and that's been showing some results, I think. So therefore, we probably will move ahead with that project. But yeah, so let's get into some news this week, because there is some news, because we've had Comic-Con. So a few things. Well, let's start with the non-Comic-Con stuff, some stuff that we learned before Comic-Con. First off, well, this is something we learned yesterday, but I think everybody saw this coming. A New Hope's coming back to theaters next year for the 50th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody could have guessed that.
Yep.
Or, sorry, not next year, but the year after, 2027. Sorry. Brain's thinking. But yes. So, for 2027, 50th anniversary, yeah. That makes sense to me.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one who's bad at math here.
And the movie, well, it's more of I just wasn't thinking. I just... but apparently they'll start screenings on April 30th. For just a few weeks. And that'll also be, given some hype just before Starfighter comes out. Because that'll be just enough time before Starfighter's supposed to come out. Because that's supposed to be June, I believe. Well, maybe May. Let me double check. We may not have a month yet. I know that's supposed to come out 2027 as well. No, we do have. We have a specific date. We have May 28th. So yeah, you'll have a few weeks of that, and then basically maybe a few weeks break between the two, and then Starfighter. So, actually, no. If it's on April 30th, yeah, it'll probably lead right up until Starfighter comes out. They might even do some special previews for it if you go to the anniversary showing.
Maybe.
They tend to like to do that type of stuff when that happens, but yeah. In more fun news, in topic with what we're talking about today, with one of our topics for today, they've already announced a sequel to Ghost Agents, which is what we are going to talk about later today. and it's going to follow our Bad Batch boys as they in one called Rogue Agents. So another Hyperspace Stories miniseries. So, and that's supposed to come out start happening in December. So it's happening real soon. I guess it got a lot of readers, which is good because it. I'll say this: it was a good series. Like it's a good little mini series. I will say I read the comic with the voices in my head from. Like I would just imagine each of them, like each of their voices when I was reading their lines. Going into Comic-Con, this isn't exactly Star Wars, but it's Star Wars adjacent. George Lucas made his, I think, first time to San Diego Comic-Con, is what I kept reading, to go into Hall H to talk about what he's calling his Temple to the People, which is his Museum of Narrative Art. And it's basically a project he and a lot of other big filmmakers and big people within the industry, including Doug Chiang, who does like a lot of the art. That if you've ever seen like the art behind Star Wars, usually it's like in anything that's like prequels onward, it's Doug Chiang. That's a part of that. And he's big even outside of just Star Wars. And then you had board members that include Guillermo del Toro there, and Doug Chiang is also a board member, and so they were there, and then Queen Latifah moderated the panel. But I mean, for the people that are actually part of the board, that inspires some hope in me.
It's a strong showing.
Yeah, and so they showed a little bit of the stuff that was going to be there. So we got some old art from Ralph McQuarrie back from A New Hope, from original Star Wars. We got even some Flash Gordon strips, since that's what inspired Star Wars. And then we also even got to see the design of the building, which is supposed to be opening pretty soon. It's next year. And calling it a temple, I think, is fitting, based on once you see what it looks like, which we're looking at it right now. It looks very like modern spaceship temple, like something you'd see in Star Wars, honestly. Like it looks like a Jedi temple. And it's this beautiful blending actually of modern and nature, which I think more buildings should incorporate, like gardens and nature, like this one shows. Like it's a little garden on the roof, and that's a good way of giving back to the environment if you're somebody who cares about that, while still being able to create new buildings. It very much looks like a spaceship, though.
Yeah. My brain's trying to reconcile the fact that it's a building.
And it's almost like a figure 8 shape.
Yeah, that's like a little Morbius strip. And my brain is struggling with that.
But I like the design. I think it's very fitting for a museum that Lucas created.
Yeah.
Like
if you told me that was a museum, I'd be like, okay, I believe that.
And then if I told you George Lucas helped design it, then you'd believe it even more. You'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
That's why it looks like that.
But I like it, and I honestly hope.
Yeah, like it's not ugly.
No, it's I definitely would like to go visit it once it's open, but I bet you it'll be a really long line to get in. I bet you there's probably a huge waiting list, but doors are set to open next year. I think they showed some pictures of like of some of the like spaceships being, or like a full pod racer thing being in there too. So like they'll have physical things, not just like not just paintings and pictures, right? Because that's also part of the art, right? Even once you bring it to life. And so there's supposed to be like 150,000 objects according to this right now. At least with 2 state-of-the-art theaters. So that's exciting. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. You know that doesn't apply for podcast days. Just because it's there, no. Yeah. Yeah, move the crown away. Well,
I'm here, and as half of this podcast,
you also have to work right after this.
I get to say, I get to use one of my like rights as
you get the veto
of ignoring that one.
Yeah, you get to veto. Let me turn.
If I wasn't working, I probably would have, but I have to go to work later.
Let me turn that off.
But hello, Pixie. I'm glad you showed up. Yeah, I know.
I will, at least, in
water is
happy
fine.
medium, I'll take a shot. I'll start chugging some water.
But yeah, man, that building does look like a figure eight, a spaceship, and someone's nature preserve.
All in one?
All in one. And I think my brain just is, like, struggling with that.
Yeah, it's, like, too early for you to process that. You're like, can't process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we learned at San Diego Comic-Con from George's panel, which, once again, I think is his first time being at San Diego Comic-Con.
It might be, but I do not know.
Yep, it's his first San Diego Comic-Con appearance.
Alright.
So, and boy, for your first one being right there in Hall H, but also it's George Lucas, so, you know, and Guillermo del Toro also got to yell at, well, not yell, but get on to people for using AI. And he got to call out the fact that it's not art. Which is very del Toro to do. On the other hand, though, we also got some books reveals. We also got some other stuff revealed that we didn't. There's no full pictures for us to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, we got some new images from All Shadow Lord, and by that I mean just the single image with him in front of a red backdrop, and kind of showing off the new animation style. It's Clone Wars / Rebels animation style. It doesn't look that different to me, honestly. But maybe that's because my eyes aren't trained for that. Like, it doesn't look too different to me. And then apparently we got an image of Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka Season 2. But that I didn't see any images of that on anywhere. Yeah.
Also, we're a little late today, but don't worry about that.
We're only like a few minutes late.
Yeah.
But how are you doing today, Pixie, by the way? We also got some reveals about Mandalorian Visual Guide. They reminded us that the Training Sessions Young Jedi Adventures comic collection is coming out, and so they showed some pages of that. That's good. I know you were on pretty late. I passed out while you were streaming last night. I was exhausted.
And they are at the Fire Giant.
Yeah.
They're having problems with the Fire Giant, like everyone does.
But the pages they showed for the Young Jedi Adventures, they showed Buryaga teaming up with our Young Jedi Adventures group. She said, yeah, getting my ass kicked. Yeah, you're making progress, though. You're just, you know, that's the thing with any of those type of games. You get knocked down, and then you push, like, 2 more, like, areas before getting knocked down again. Like, it's a very slow push sometimes. We also got some pages from Tales from the Nightlands, which is supposed to be this year's spooky comic. So, from issue 1, which is going to come out September 10th. So, they're getting a head start this time, whereas last time they waited till November to drop it, if I remember correctly. That was the Tales from the Death Star last year, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, wow. But yeah, Tales from Nightland, we get some pages which have Obi-Wan, it looks like. Or, let me see. Could be any Jedi, really.
Yeah.
But it looks like maybe Obi-Wan, or it's either Obi-Wan or Anakin, because that's an Obi-Wan or Anakin, like, young design, Padawan design. Looks like though they're talking to Ghost. Ghost. Is that? No. Okay. And then they showed some pages from the next graphic novel for Hyperspace Stories because the last one was Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
They're doing General Grievous next, and we get some pages from that with him and Count Dooku. Charles Soule talked a little bit about Legacy of Vader, which is another topic we've got today. And he talked about issues 7. They talked about 7 through 10, and they talked about how there's going to be some variant covers for 10 that will have Luke, as Luke is supposed to make an appearance in the series soon. Which is interesting considering he's dead at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we may get Force Ghost Luke.
Hey, grandson, check this out. Not grandson, nephew.
Nephew. Yeah, it's because you saw grandfather probably, and because we've been dealing with Vader also. I mean, we may get some Force Ghosts of Vader too, or Anakin, I guess, because Sith can't really be Force Ghost in canon. In Legends, that's more of a thing, but in canon, they kind of removed that idea. But yeah, we got Mandalorian Visual Guide as well as which is supposed to come out about the same time as we're getting Mandalorian and Grogu next year. Maybe, because right now there's no confirmed release date for it, but they announced it, which means it's probably within the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for books, because books you don't really announce that far out. Going into more Random House stuff, we got a Revenge of the Sith Deluxe Edition, for those of y'all who like the Revenge of the Sith novelization from Matthew Stover. It's going to have 150 author annotations. Grogu is my little baby. And then I think the more exciting thing is we got to learn some Reign of the Empire stuff. We now know the next 2 titles for the last 2 books. We know Edge of the Abyss is going to be the second one, which that's supposed to be fall next year. And that's Rebecca Roanhorse, which you haven't read anything that she's done for Star Wars yet, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
And then in the summer of 2027, we'll get Fran Wild, who I don't think has done anything except for some short stories. And that she will be wrapping it with From the Ashes. And Reign of the Empire was probably one of the best books we read this year, next to the last High Republic novel, in my opinion. I know you weren't as into
I'm
it.
trying to remember what happens in Reign of the Empire.
That's the one with Bail, Mon, and Saul, and kind of the formation.
Oh,
yeah.
I
know you weren't as strong on that because of Mon's chapters, but I thought it was a good, like, Star Wars political espionage drama, like political intrigue book, and I'm excited to see more of that. And they've kind of cut one of the characters because of what happens to them in the first book, so that's more chapters you can give to the main characters that you want to push forward, because I think the next one is supposed to focus more on, from what I understand, it's supposed to focus more on Saul, which Saul didn't get a lot of time in the last one. And then the other book I'm really excited... Edge of the Abyss... we do know a little bit more. We know when it's going to take place as well. Edge of the Abyss will take place a year before the events of Andor Season 1.
Okay.
And apparently may even feature characters from the series. This is coming from Alexander Freed, who did the first book. Who did Mask of Fear. The other book I'm really excited about that they announced, this one is a completely new announcement, because we haven't had this announcement at all, actually, until now. Outlaws is getting a novel. Star Wars Outlaws, Low Red Moon. And it's going to be the origin story of Jalen Vrax and Indy 5. And I think the more exciting thing is who's writing it. Mike Chen, who wrote Brotherhood.
Okay.
So that could... I know when we were initially looking at this, you were less excited, but I think that might have improved your anticipation
I
of this
don't
book.
really. I'm not disappointed. I am apathetic.
Yeah, you're just whelmed.
Hmm.
You are perfectly whelmed. You're not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed. You are whelmed.
Yeah,
But I think Mike Chen adds a little bit
a
to.
little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's coming out pretty. Not too far, February 3rd next year. So that's not too far in terms of like where we realistically are and how time actually tends to fly.
Yeah.
Uh,
But remember, my sense of time is all fucked.
but we also even got a synopsis. I can read it, I guess, because we got a little time. Indy 5 and Jalen Vrax embark on their descent into the galaxy's underworld in search of answers and opportunity in this essential prequel to Star Wars Outlaws. Essential prequel, okay.
Trying to sell us pretty hard, aren't you?
Jalen Barsha, heir to his family's immense power and wealth, had his life charted out for him neatly and meticulously by his parents, even though he suspected his neglected half-brother Silro would be a better fit for the bright corporate future his parents envisioned. Then the Empire stripped it all away on trumped-up charges of conspiracy against his family. Before he can reach Silro for help redeeming the Barsha name, a battle droid arrives at the family compound with a mission to kill every single last member of the Barsha clan. Jalen manages to fend off the attack as the sole survivor, but realizes the droid, who he reprograms, is his only chance to stay alive. But he can no longer be Jalen Barsha. He'll have to live now as Jalen Vrax. Former Separatist battle droid Indy 5 knows he should be scrap metal, all things considered. He was a proficient contributor to the Separatist cause, but what is a soldier without a war? A trigger without aim? Loyalty is in his programming, and Jalen, who treats him as more than a weapon, has earned it. Perhaps the droid thinks with a partner he can be more. Indy 5 just has to earn Jalen's trust. With the threat against the Barsha clan still shrouded in mystery, the pair has no choice but to leverage the chaos and disappear. They find sanctuary in the anonymity of the underworld, building their reputation among scoundrels, bounty hunters, and crime syndicates. But when their latest score gives the first real clue in years who sent Indy 5 after Jalen's family, their biggest opportunity presents a new kind of risk. Do they give up this chance at the wealth and power Jalen was destined to pursue answers? Was denied to pursue answers? Or will ambition and the weight of the past shatter their unlikely partnership? I'm kind of into it. I mean, I was saying before we got on camera when we were talking about it, I was like, at the same time, the story of Jalen and Silro is interesting, and we don't get a lot of it in the game. We get like the most bare minimum. Here's what happened, which is all you need for the game, right?
Yeah.
But you can novelize that out and make it an interesting story. And I think with a good author like Mike Chen, that is possible. And it sounds like they're not going to just focus on that. It sounds like they're going to focus on like this whatever like crime syndicate stuff, as well as something involving the mystery behind that. Which I don't know if they're going to change some stuff, because there's stuff that we know thanks to the game, because we kind of know who was behind the Barsha family massacre. But maybe they add some context and maybe change some things around with this novel. Kind of soft retcon it where it doesn't go against what we know, but it provides more context. That would be my guess, in order to keep the book interesting. But that's it for news. All right, and so we'll jump into the High Republic Adventures Phase 3 Volume 5 first. I know, long title.
Yeah.
Actually, almost all of these are long titles except for Kylo's. The Legacy of Vader is pretty short. So I guess we start with us continuing the Battle of Iriadu, and we get a lot of the perspective of...
So we get mostly Farzala's perspective.
For that first issue within it, yeah. And we get kind of Farzala kind of coming finally to terms with his master's death, as well as just like being a leader and maybe being willing to make dangerous calls and take risks in order to win. Because one of the things right now that everybody's counting on him to do is fire this big ass cannon.
Yep.
That at the ship. I'm trying to remember the name of the ship. It's the old Jedi ship that now
The Starhopper.
Yeah, the Starhopper, because it's currently being held by the Nihil. But the problem is, if he does, it risks a few things. Because right now there's the risk still of everything exploding underneath them.
Yep.
Which is what the Nihil are planning to do, because now they know, oh, that's something we can do, because Traitor gave all the information, despite what his grandma said. His grandma was like, don't do that.
Yep.
He's like, but I want you to live. And she's like, I'll die. I don't care. I remember that being a clip for our TikTok talking about that. And so so first of all, it was kind of like, the other issue is if I fire this, then even if that's not the issue, then I still risk having everybody within that part of the city killed.
Yeah.
From like the ship crashing and the side effects of that. But thankfully, behind the scenes, our traitor boy is having some second thoughts about being a traitor. And he's like, you know what? This was a bad idea. And I'm kind of going all over, because that's probably the best way to talk about this particular comic. Because it's almost like all of these things are happening at once. And so he decides, well, I still know a lot of information about the city that other people don't. And one of those things is that we actually have a shield. So he shields the planet just as the Nihil are about to fire.
Yeah, the geothermal plant.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And also makes you wonder, why didn't you think of this sooner?
Probably because Grandmama, no.
Yeah. And so, meanwhile, Grandmama is making an escape and kicking Nihil ass.
Yeah. And
so, so the Nihil are like, well, fuck, we gotta fly away now.
Yep.
And Farzal was like, oh, I can take the shot now.
Oh, thank God no one's in the blast radius.
So, takes the shot, blows him up. Grandmama's caught by her grandson's, by his ship, because he was flying. Well, not ship, but his, speeder. His air speeder. Chaos is pretty much going all over, but that's kind of the big thing that kind of helps change who's winning. Like, at that point, the Iriadians are like, oh, okay, now we just got to clean up, really.
Yep.
During this sort of phase of the battle, we also have I'm remembering her name.
I could help you.
Do you remember?
Yeah, it's Sion.
Sion, yeah.
I don't remember the last.
Yeah, Sion is kind of in the middle of a fight with the pirate, the granddaughter of the pirate from Phase. Yeah, the one that kind of had a romantic her grandmother had a romantic thing kind of with your least favorite Jedi.
Yeah,
from the High Republic era. Sav.
Sav is a capable Jedi. I just don't care.
You don't care for the stoicism that
surprisingly.
What? That feels like such your. And Sav's not a bad stoic though either. Like Sav is.
No.
There's way worse stoic Jedi in Star Wars, but no, but yeah, they Cian gets injured and is like, hey. Can you tell Emmerich if you find him that I love him, essentially?
Yeah. And my thought at the time, she gets shot like over here in the shoulder.
Yeah,
and like,
and this is when Emmerich, who else is
Emmerich,
Kai Santum, and then there was one more person in that.
Severin's cousin.
Oh,
he's a Tarkin.
Oh yeah. Oh, her brother. You mean?
Yeah. Where did I get cousin from?
Because he's her twin. Yeah, her brother.
Oh.
Yeah, because she says twin when they find him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tarkin brother. The three of them are.
They've been being bombarded.
Well, yeah, they're also like locked inside like a vault with the Nihil all like right outside. Which is why Cian's like, oh, we need to get to them. And then she's like, if you get them out, tell them I love them. And yeah, you were saying like...
Yeah, she like gets shot in the shoulder. I'm like, that's a blaster bolt. You will be fine. It probably fucking hurts a lot. But I don't think it's lethal.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
You know, sometimes, depending on the severity.
Yeah.
But I'm also, like, thinking about, I'm like, yeah, she did pretty much just show up in, like, a dressing gown.
To be fair, they, like, everybody was just out of a wedding before they got into this fight. Which, once again, we know who to blame for this.
Yep. Not that it wasn't a nice wedding, but, like, come on, guys.
No, I mean, I know who to blame for the start of the battle.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, Joss.
Yeah, thanks,
on
Joss.
On the other side of the planet, in Mid-Bell, I am not the galaxy's smartest man.
It's like, Joss starts the battle, and they're like, the wedding's like, oh shit, I guess we gotta fight now.
Yeah. To be fair, though, it seems like they mostly got done with us.
Oh, they were done with the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, and then they charged out to the street.
Yeah, I don't think there was time to change, though, to be fair. Yeah. There was enough time to just be like, oh, we finished the ceremony. We'll have the reception after.
Yeah.
Whoever's alive, we're having the reception after. Which, honestly... So, yeah, we'll kind of wrap this up. Everybody survives. For the most... Like, I don't think anybody dies, really.
No one dies.
They do acknowledge our boy who died in the novel, though. They even show it. They show Torben Buck's death.
Yeah.
Which kind of brutal while less brutal than I imagine. Like, it was still very brutal for, like... Because High Republic Adventures is still meant for a younger audience than the mainline comic, but it's not meant for, like, little kids either. Still kind of brutal, though. But they were like, nah, he died at peace. I'm like...
Looking over from the adult books, you are a fucking liar.
I mean, they are right, though, that he died, like, knowing what he was doing and that he was, like, doing what he believed was right and that he was protecting the Nameless. But, yes. Outside of that... Also, seeing the rod in the High Republic Adventures art style is interesting. Because we saw the rod in Torben's hand. But the rest of the comic is basically kind of a wrapping up. Yeah. And kind of... Honestly, I'm curious where the finale comic is going to go, because I feel like this was more of a finale to everything than... I think so far the novel was a good finale. I think this was a good finale. Where does the one that's called the finale, how do you top these?
Is this another Convergence Battle of Jeddah situation?
Because, like, looking at that final issue for High Republic Adventures, don't tell me that doesn't wrap up every High Republic Adventure comic, like, that we've read so far in such a well fashion. And even some of the junior novels. Yeah. Like, because the junior novels didn't even really get a wrap up. Like, the last junior novel did not feel like the end of the series. Like, it didn't feel like a wrap up in any way. Whereas this kind of wraps up all that stuff. It has, because we have a party and some music, and it's. I would like to hear that song, actually. I want to hear what it actually sounds like, because I hate reading songs in comics that are, like, made up without hearing them. I need to hear a audio vision, like, I need an audio version of these things. I don't like comics that do that, where they're like, here's a song that's original. And it's like, well, what tune am I reading this in? What am I... Because I like to imagine songs as songs.
Sound doesn't work very well in a visual format, especially one that has to be read.
Yeah. Like, maybe it works if the song is an existing song.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's an editor's note that goes, read this song in this, like, tune to this song. Then I could be like, oh, but... No.
Not this time.
And most times in that situation. Like, even the Shri Karai rhyme, we didn't know what it sounded like for a while. Until, like, audiobooks and audio dramas were like, here's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Because that came in comic form first as well. And so I like it though, because we got to see Ram Knighted. And they even show, like I said, it's very much the finale to everything, because like they show the flashbacks to Ram, and they even show stuff from the books. And I'm like, oh, there's him when he was pretending to be the pirates.
Crimson Skull.
Yeah, the Crimson Skulls. And we got like some of that stuff, and then we got some of like Sav even having some flashbacks, and we got like it very much is a good finale, I think, to the High Republic adventures. I'd give it a good strong 8 overall.
I'll give it a 9.
Yeah, like I think it was a good.
I'll give it a 9 because it got me misty-eyed.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it that last, like when they're at the party, or?
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, it's over. So many people are dead. So many are alive. Oh, thank God.
At least seeing and Emmerich actually, kiss, and they finally,
Like, that's my boy.
Hell yeah.
It only took
since phase 1.
It only took since phase 1. Fucking
like that tension,
years.
like that tension was there from the moment they met. Honestly, if we're being honest. But yeah, I liked it. Next is another long name: Hyperspace Stories, The Bad Batch, Ghost Agents. Are you doing syllable?
It's 9 words.
9 words.
Should
Still
hyperspace
2. Hyperspace is 1 word.
Okay, yeah. It's because it's hyphenated.
No, it's not. It's just 1 word.
Is it not?
It's not hyphenated, and it is just straight up 1 word. So is it actually 8?
Yeah, I guess it's 8.
Well, that's still 1 more than the last one, than the High Republic one. So it's longer.
Yeah.
This was also a good comic. This was
also a very fun one.
This one was just, and they drop you right in the middle too. They just go, "All right, we're in the middle of a mission. Here you go."
Yeah.
And it's
Then
they kind of tell us what they're doing afterwards, but yeah, they just drop us right into it.
Yeah.
Which is
the batch gets like recalled to Coruscant.
Yeah. So the batch get called, and Mace is like, "Hey, so ghost agents are our spies for the war. Somebody," and this is very Mission Impossible, by the way. Somebody got a list of all the agents, and they're gonna sell it. Well, they're gonna send it to somebody else, and you need to get it before it gets into the wrong hands, because more than likely somebody will just start killing all of our agents.
Which almost happens.
Turns out, after a lot of chasing, all the way that leads all the way to Kessel.
Yeah.
Because the Pikes are involved for some reason.
From Coruscant to Kessel, which is a fucking journey.
Yeah, the Pikes are involved for some reason. We never learn why.
Yeah.
But it turns out Ventress is the one that has the data, and she's giving it to. She's going to a meeting with, the most horrible bounty hunter there is, Aura Singh.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, Embo keeps trying to stop our boys on the way.
Yeah.
Embo's like, "Hey, this is my bounty,"
Stop it.
and they're like, "But we need to stop it because we're the Republic." And Embo's like, "But I need money."
Yeah.
And we use tech as translator because nobody else knows how Embo's language.
Yep.
Which we've established that's one of the things tech is there for, anyways, is being the
Translator.
yeah.
Crosshair shoots up a bar because he gets tired.
Yeah, because they try to get the information, and because they go down to the lower cities of Coruscant, and Hunter's like, "Hey, let's chill. Let's try to do this stealthily and get the information." And Crosshair just gets impatient because they still recognize them as clones, which I kind of think is bullshit, but okay.
Yeah, I'm one of the ones where I'm like, dude, Coruscant is filled with so many people.
Like, how would you assume these are clones?
Yeah.
Like, they look nothing like them. How would you...
I mean, I guess it's under the logic of, like, some people look like their siblings a little bit, and others just don't.
But they look nothing like their siblings. Yeah. That's the part that's like, what the fuck? I mean, Crosshair might be the closest, actually. Crosshair might...
And, like, because it's a comic, I think something that we all forget is most clones sound kind of similar, but not all the time.
But not the Bad Batch entirely either, because I was reading this with their voices in my head on each line. Hunter is actually the closest, actually. Hunter, you could claim, sounds like the others. But Wrecker and Tech and Crosshair don't really...
Yeah. I guess it's also because Hunter is the one doing the most talking in that scene.
Yeah.
Apart from Crosshair.
But yeah, Crosshair gets impatient because they get found out, and Crosshair just shoots up the place and is like...
And also the bartender is an asshole.
Yeah. Well, correction, he doesn't shoot up the place. He just fires a single warning shot, and then they're like...
Fuck, man, alright.
We don't want trouble. And so then they give the information. Then they go to Kessel, and they find the ship, and they get to Kessel, and then Hunter gets on the Pike ship after they blow up some spice. Because he gets onto one of the Pike ships following, at the time, they don't know yet, Ventress.
Yeah. And then for Hunter, it turns into a goddamn...
Horror film.
Horror film.
Because then Ventress kills all the Pikes on the ship in front of him.
Hunter is playing a solo game of Dead by Daylight.
I would say he's playing more Alien Isolation.
We're comparing. You know what? Yeah, sure. Comparing Ventress to a Xenomorph.
About just as deadly.
About, yeah.
And that would be me putting the odds in Ventress's favor, not the Xenomorphs, by the way.
So Hunter's like calling the rest of the batch over the phone, like, guys, I might have fucked up. I hope you guys have a plan.
The good news is I do know where we're going now.
Yeah.
And so they go to like this water world, that like is also like an electricity like producer, because they use the waterfalls to produce the electricity. And so Ventress is meeting Aura Singh there to do the handoff, and the boys come up with the plan of, well, Tech, you can just make a fake list, override the real list during the handoff, and then delete the real list once you've put the fake list on there.
Yep.
Well, that almost goes well.
This goes under one of the big plan.
Which is actually a good plan.
It's not a bad plan at all. Unfortunately, it's
interrupted.
It's interrupted, and also it's under the effects of, now that I've explained the plan will not work.
I mean, the big problem is that they get interrupted by Aura Singh's bodyguard droids that she brought with her because she doesn't trust anybody, which is very Aura Singh.
Oh.
And she's like, I especially don't trust you if you're who I think you are to Ventress.
Yeah.
And she is right.
But you know what? Good policy.
But yeah, the droids end up interfering with the signal, where it basically makes a slow upload speed, which messes up until they kill all the droids.
Yeah.
And then once they do that, then it's too late because Aura and Ventress are like, "Oh, we found you. We knew something weird was going on."
Motherfucker.
Well, more so Aura did.
She's like, my radio antenna just won't calm down.
The signal's not working correctly. And
You're
so
stealing my bandwidth, Tech.
And so what ends up being the plan here is to run.
Yep.
Because Ventress reveals herself finally.
And everyone, and they're like, can we take that? No.
Especially not right now. Maybe another time, but not right now.
Yep. Goodbye.
So they basically do the Jedi Fallen Order, we're running from Vader moment.
We're running? Yeah, we're running. It's bad.
And so they managed to escape by going into the lower levels of this factory, essentially, like where the electricity is produced. And they find like the back door out. In the process, running into Embo and getting into a fight with him. And then going, you know what, we need to work together to get out of here.
Yeah.
And so...
on account of, like, accidentally being basically sealed in, like, a little drowning thing.
Yeah, because they accidentally fire at one of the pipes that starts leaking the water, and they do the whole, we're gonna drown unless we open the door that's at the very top, and we can't shoot it because it's electromagnetically sealed. Mm-hmm. And Embo's like, well, I can lockpick. I'm the rogue of the party.
It's like, well, we don't have any other options, so yeah.
And so they get out, and then they immediately almost get into a fight with Embo again, only for Hunter to be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Why don't we just make a deal?
Yeah.
Why don't we just pay him, and then we work with him to deal with these people?
Yep, and I forget if it's Crosshair or Wrecker. They're like, how do we know we can trust him? And the conclusion is, we don't.
But also, he doesn't know he can trust us, so this is very equal footing in this scenario.
I have a general rule when it comes to, like, fiction, both in video games. If someone will admit to you that you cannot, that, like, you have no logical reason to trust them, you should probably lean into trusting them.
Because why be that honest?
Yeah. Now, of course, things can shift, but for the most part, that's a pretty good rule.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they make the deal, and immediately immediately they find their ship, and just as they're about to get on, Aura and Ventress show up. Mm-hmm. And so Embo gets into a fight with them, and the boys are running. And then Hunter does an awesome thing, which is shoots Ventress's lightsaber away out of her hand. I think actually destroying it.
Yeah.
Just as she's about to hit Embo with it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, that's like the one like little thing where Hunter's like, see, you can trust me. Even if we're running away.
Yep.
But that's okay, because I think that was the plan anyways. Embo was going to be the one that got to fight them. And so...
and Aura probably won't kill Embo because of like the
bounty hunter rules.
Bounty hunter rules of like, you can fight each other, but you can't kill each other.
Yeah, you can't.
Unless there's a bounty on you, in which case the rule is removed.
Because you're, I guess at that point, removed from the guild.
Yeah.
Like, if you have a bounty on you, you can't be in the guild, probably, is like the ruling.
Something like that.
We just never had anything official say that that's the ruling, but I think that would make common sense. It's like, well, that's not fair to be in the guild and have a bounty on you. Can you turn yourself in?
Oh. 500 gold? Shit, I'll turn myself in.
1,000,000 credits? Let's go.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but you're going to be captured by Jabba. What are you going to do with that? Huh?
I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
But yeah, so they get away. And they're like, well, we didn't get the plans away from them, or the list away from them. And they're like, yeah, but we did pull, when I put the fake list on, I did manage to pull a name off of the list. And it's the first name, which means it's probably going to be the first target.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go there.
Yep.
And it turns out it's this, like, sand, like, storm planet that is Separatist run. And it turns out the leader of the Separatists there is the ghost agent.
Yep. So when they go there, they're like, should we be subtle about this? And they're like, fuck subtlety, we don't have the time for it.
Well, no, at first they are subtle. Because remember, they do kill the battle droids in through the storm. It's once they get to the tower, they're like, okay, we got to be faster.
Yeah.
They just didn't want, before they got to the tower, they didn't want alerting the tower. But they get to the tower, and then they're like, okay, now we can just... unfortunately...
I almost feel a little bit bad for the battle droids. They're outside.
Yeah, they're like, where'd he go? But then they get there to the guy where he's like, I don't know, like he tries to play it off at first because he's still undercover, and then they're like, no, you're in danger. Aura's on her way to kill you. And he's
right
like,
now.
And he's like, oh, okay, sorry about that. Pfft, kills his own battle droids. Okay, we gotta get out of here. And then Aura comes in crashing through the window, the skylight.
It's one of those like, god damn it moments.
But thankfully, this ghost agent has some pretty good stuff on him, because he's like, here, take these, and they're like little propeller things for him to just fly, because he's like, we're just gonna fly out the window and get out of here. And then they use the environment to their advantage to kick Aura's ass, and have Crosshair firing at her from outside the storm, from inside the storm with her in like a clearing, and then have Hunter, while she's distracted, come in, fight her, and steal the thing, and then run.
Yep. And
that's how they win. They're like, okay, she doesn't have the list now. That was our real objective. Bye. Because at first they were like, well, we saved him, so we're good. And they're like, no. We still have to get the list. Because otherwise then we have to do this with every single one of these ghost agents. And we don't know who they are, because we don't have the list. So we need the list. And so then they bring back to Mace, who's then like, hey, good job.
And Obi-Wan is your next quest.
Yeah, report to Obi-Wan. Which is probably where Rogue Agents is going to go. And I hope we get to... I kind of like the idea of exploring, like, the spies that are within the war, and having the Bad Batch kind of just be like a team that's, like, pulling them out from undercover and going, okay, you got to get out. We're the extraction team.
Yep.
I kind of like it. I'd give this one a 9.
Yeah.
It's a good comic. Good short comic. I'm excited about the sequel. And then lastly, an ongoing comic. The Legacy of Vader Volume 1. Shorter name. There we go. We got the shortest out of them.
We got 4 words.
Yeah. And so, this basically immediately starts off after the events of Episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke's already dead. Both the Resistance and First Order are kind of in crisis mode.
Mm-hmm.
Kylo has now taken the reins as Supreme Leader because he killed Snoke. But the problem is, Kylo now has this new philosophy of letting the past die. A new philosophy that he just started at the end of Last Jedi. This is a very new philosophy that he was like trying to push on Rey. It did not work. But now he wants to live that philosophy because he's like, maybe that will make me a better dark side Force user and make me stronger. So part of that plan is to go to Fortress Vader and destroy Vader's castle, essentially.
Yep.
So he goes to Mustafar, and where he finds Vinay, our favorite servant to the dark side, who is now just a head in a jar. He's Futurama.
The weird anglerfish robot body thing.
Which goes against, I guess, the Lego Star Wars, which now completely throws out that version of I like what happened in the Halloween special, but okay.
Oh, man. And Kylo does not begin his journey of killing the past by just destroying this castle immediately.
Although he was pretty close. He was willing to kill Vinay until Vinay's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you want to know the secrets of your grandfather? Because you couldn't get into this castle without his blood, because literally he had to drip blood at the footstep for the door to open. He's like, you got to be related to him for that to have worked.
He also tells Hux to build him a throne.
Oh, yeah. Because Hux is like, hey, I got all these plans. I know what we should do to be, moving ahead of the resistance. We need to get a shipyard, and because right now we have no ships. We need to get the shipyards at Corellia and start working. And then Kylo's like, that's your plan. I want a throne. Well, what material? Whatever. But make sure you get it right the first time.
What?
Hux is like, fuck!
And you know what? For as much of a, evil bastard as Hux is, I kind of get it. Why he's like, I fucking hate this kid so much.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Because we are in ad territory for Twitch.
Alright.
They didn't get to hear you say that. We're back.
Oh well.
You were shorter than me for once.
Yeah.
I
didn't
So,
make
yeah.
myself short. I just leaned back.
But
a
yeah,
little
poor Hux.
bit. Yeah.
While he is a fascist, he's trying to be a useful fascist who actually gets things done, whereas Kylo's kind of being a man-child.
Yeah.
I think Sabrina Carpenter has a song about Kylo Ren. But no, that was a bad joke even for my standards.
I don't know what you're fucking talking.
It's literally a song called Man Child.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, Kylo goes to meet Vinay. Vinay's like, talks him into like, hey, I'm gonna train you, essentially, is what Vinay ends up like talking him into. And the first test is to go to Tatooine.
Yep.
Because he's like, all right, we gotta go back because we gotta talk about things that your grandfather did that made him so great.
Yep.
And why you suck.
Pretty much.
He had a rough childhood. He was a slave, you see. And Kylo's like, what? He's like, yeah. And then the Jedi freed him, but not his mom. And Kylo's like, sounds a lot like Jedi. It's not like they didn't. The Jedi would have if they could have. But there really wasn't a ability to. And so they talk about, well, one, they talk about the pod racing thing, and they're like, oh yeah, he was the only human who could do it. And he did it at such a young age that he won the boon to Eve, the only human to do it. And then these muggers try to take their money. Kylo having none of that.
Yeah.
He uses the Force to have two of them go into Mexican standoff mode and kill the others. And then the last guy surviving, he's like, all right, now tell your friends not to do this shit anymore.
Yep.
And then they talk a little bit about Watto, where we learn that Watto wasn't killed by Vader. Is that my understanding of that scene? Like because Kylo's like, yeah, he should have killed him and got revenge. And then Vinay's like, no, he was too busy to worry about that. And plus, Watto wasn't the only owner.
Yeah.
Watto was just the second one. He got Anakin from Gardula the Hutt, who is still alive.
Yeah.
Which implies that Watto is dead, just wasn't killed by Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I think he was. Now I'm thrown off. Because that comic really threw me off, because I thought Watto was... Oh, a lot of people... That's right, I remember. A lot of people thought that he had killed Watto because of that... because that image came out before the issue did.
Yeah.
And so everybody was like... And so Charles Soule was like, whoa. Don't assume things about the story before... He had to, come out ahead of time and be like, because fans were assuming, based off the preview panels, what was happening. And so... So yeah. But yeah, memes were made of it because of,
I see.
People don't like Watto a little bit for the obvious on that one. Having slaves,
Yeah, that tends to sour people on.
At least if you're a good person, it sours your opinion on somebody, And so Kylo is like, all right, well, I'm going to go kill Gardula then.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out Vinay is friends with I don't think Gardula. I think it's the Force user that...
Yeah.
I think that's who Vinay warned when he was like, the boy's coming, he's on his way. And he's mad. Because we learned that Gardula hired a Force user to be her protector after what happened to Jabba, which is very valid considering what happened to Jabba.
Yeah, you know what? Good preparation.
Bad execution.
Yeah.
Gardula was like, I saw some Jedi kill Jabba. I should probably not let that happen to me. But yeah, so they do manage to capture Kylo, and he has and then they drug him with spice. They just he gets the Toki treatment.
He does. He gets that and electrocuted, and they're like,
And then the Force user that works for Gardulla is like, whoa, 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 you can't be killing him yet. We need him alive. Our friend wants him alive, just hurt a little.
Mm-hmm.
And Gardulla's like, I want to kill him, but okay.
Yeah.
And so they puff him with spice. They just into the room, they gas him.
And fucking Gardulla's over here every once in a while on the intercom. You're gonna work for me.
Obey, obey, obey.
No, no, no.
And so, Kylo then has like this vision of Vader, who basically is like Vader, the Vision Vader, because it's not a Force Ghost, because we know that one, Sith can't do Force Ghost, and also Anakin turned, something that Kylo still hasn't really come to terms with. And so this vision of Vader goes, "You're a little bitch," essentially.
Like everything I did on my own.
Yeah, he's like, you're whining about getting help and how the First Order is going to show up and save you. I didn't do any of that. I did all the stuff by myself, which is not entirely true, but it would make sense that this would be the vision that a drugged up Kylo Ren would have in order to convince himself how to be stronger in the Force.
Really, kind of worked.
Yeah, he frees himself. And then he kills a crate dragon and makes a jacket out of it.
Yeah.
Not like the full-grown crate dragon. It's like a baby crate dragon too, though. But it's still a crate dragon because it's not like the one we see in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's more like the old school Legends versions,
Which isn't unimpressive considering how big they get up.
Yeah.
Grow to.
Let me double check that is what they were trying to imply it was. Because I could be wrong. And we did just talk about not assuming things.
Like, while Kylo is out getting tortured by Gardulla, Hux and the rest of the First Order are like, where the fuck is our not boss doing his not job?
Also, Hux, are you planning something? He's like, yeah, I am. It's okay. Let our boss do what he wants. If he happens to die from it, that's his own fault.
Yeah.
It'd be under organisms. He does kill that Rancor at the stop.
Like 2 of them.
Yeah.
He's like, your guards wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, Gardulla was like, you're gonna pay me back for that. He's like, no, that's their fault. If they just let me in,
You wouldn't be having this problem.
it doesn't confirm. I'm gonna assume, because the other organisms don't make sense. I don't think it was a dewback, because it had horns. And it definitely wasn't a bantha. That's a furry creature.
Yeah.
So, I think it was meant to be... a crate dragon. Anyways, he comes back, and basically, he calls the First Order up on the phone, and he's like, hey, can you bomb this location in about, like, 20 minutes?
They're like, yeah, why?
Okay, that's all.
Wait, no, you need to tell...
And then they're like, hey, Hux, are we supposed to obey that? Because, like, he's at that location. And Hux is like, hey, he knows what he's doing. Hux hoping that...
He's like, please, brother.
Please, in the 20 minutes, still be there.
Please still just be inside that fucking building.
Unfortunately for Hux, he's not.
Looks at Kylo internally. God fucking damn it.
Kylo even gets to do a cool guys don't look at explosions moment because he kills all those people in Gardulla's palace. Assumedly, we can assume he killed everyone.
Yeah, and if he didn't get them, the explosion probably did.
I think the explosion was more just to destroy the palace for good measure. I think, which was very. It is hitting the legacy of Vader. That's a very Vader move. And then we still just wreck the place just to really
sell the point home.
Yeah. Teach people not to mess with us.
Yep.
And so then he leaves and gets a cool guys don't look at explosions moment as they're bombarding it.
Yep.
And then the next lesson takes him to Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on a family legacy tour.
Yeah.
Um,
Kylo Ren's family history.
where we learned Naboo got really fucked over by the post 6 era.
Yeah.
You want late stage capitalism mixed with monarchyism? Essentially.
It did not go well.
That's essentially what happened to Naboo post 6. Because all the corrupt capitalists that are like the leading families within the monarchy and like the wealthy houses of Naboo were taking advantage of Palpatine's reign, and were like, Palpatine was very nice to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Palpatine died, then there was basically a Naboo civil war. It also didn't help that I'm going to assume this was after Palpatine tried to destroy Naboo with that hurricane weapon. Let's not forget he tried to destroy his own home planet after dying. With Operation Cinder. So I'm gonna assume Operation Cinder happened first, and then we got
Yeah.
and then we got the Naboo Civil War right after that.
Yep. So like
Vinay takes Kylo to Padme's.
Yeah.
And at first Kylo assumes it's Palpatine's because Vinay is talking about how Palpatine is from here and how that's some.
Mm-hmm.
And how that created his rise to power and all that. And Kylo's like, I don't care about that old man.
Yeah. And he's like, do you care about your grandma?
And he's like, and he interrupts before like Vinay can say that it's. And then the only reason he finally realizes whose place this is because like these two guys come up, or this couple, yeah, they come up and they see like Kylo and Vinay outside the front of it, and they go, "Hey, that place is cursed. You shouldn't be there.
This place is fucking haunted. Get out of there."
And they're like, "What do you mean?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, because there was this queen who lived there, and she died, and then." Oh yeah, because Vinay does tell him about Padme before that, because he's like, "Yeah, Anakin learned to love, but it wasn't that made him strong."
Kylo gets super pissed.
He's like, "You mean I have to love someone?" He's like, No. You just have to find something to focus your rage on and your fear. Because he feared losing her. You need